Hey everybody, happy Labor Day. I hope you guys are having a great long weekend. When you're self-employed, it's really funny because you always forget it's a long weekend and the holiday comes along and you're like, oh crap, I didn't go to the store. And you have nothing to eat. So that's normally my holidays. So today I want to talk about how to beat Candida without doing extreme Candida diets or using antifungals. So for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, I'm Sandy. I'm a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and whole body healing coach. Anything you hear today is for educational purposes only, so please talk to your doctor before making any changes to your diet, your medication, your supplements, any of that, talk to your doctor. Okay, so let's first start out by discussing what Candida is. Candida is part of the normal flora. It's a fungus, and it likes to overgrow when the immune system is stressed out. And how most people normally address this, because there's a big belief that Candida is just fed by sugar. So you should cut out all the sugar in your diet, all the carbohydrates, keep it to as little bit as possible, and that's going to make the Candida go away. So that's one of the ways that people treat it. Now the other way, or in combination with, people use antifungals. So you take either a herbal antifungal or a prescription antifungal, and it brings the levels of the Candida down, and that's supposed to make you feel better. There's a few problems with this model. Now the first one is that Candida doesn't necessarily feed off sugar. There's a lot of consensus that Candida can feed off of anything. It can feed off of high fat. So if you're going from a high sugar diet to a high fat diet, Candida can adapt and start to feed off of what you're now using as a fuel. Now, the other problem with the Candida diet is most people aren't very happy on it. You'll get the few people who really thrive on fat and protein that feel good on it, but for the most part, people are miserable and they don't stick to it, or if they do stick to it, they feel isolated and depressed because they can't eat any food. Now, there's a reason for that. A lot of us do not metabolize fat and protein very well. And if you went from a regular diet of a lot of carbohydrates, and that's what your body's used to being fed as fuel, and all of a sudden you switch to this high fat, high protein, your mitochondria aren't going to be very happy with you and you're going to feel like crap. Now, the other problem is that whenever you try to kill something, it's going to release a lot of toxins. And if you haven't done enough work on your liver pathways and detox pathways, you're also going to feel like crap. And that detox is not good. That is damage. That's toxins damaging your body. So this makes it hard to follow. But not only that, when people stop the diet and the antifungals, the Candida comes back. It might not come back right away. It might take a month or two, depending on how strict they were on the diet or how high of a dose of antifungals they were taking. But eventually it does come back. Now, why is that? That is because it's part of the normal flora. You can't kill it altogether. And you're not looking at why is it there in the first place. You're just, let's kill it and be done with it, and my symptoms are going to go away. So it doesn't really work. Now, the same with the antifungals. The herbal route is going to be less toxic than the prescription route. But the prescription route, a lot of people can't tolerate them. They get very, very sick because of the damage that it does to the liver and the rest of the body. And when they do stop them, the Candida, the infections start to come back. And you'll see a lot of women with chronic yeast infections. They're doing antifungal after antifungal. They stop taking the antifungal, their symptoms come back, and it just becomes a vicious cycle. And all that they're doing, all you're doing with the diet, all you're doing with the antifungals is breaking the body down even more. And if we go back to why Candida is there in the first place, because the body is stressed, the immune system is stressed, and Candida is overgrowing. So you're just constantly breaking down and causing more stress to the body. It might put a temporary halt, a band-aid on your symptoms, but in the end, you're not addressing why the Candida is there. So that is the first thing that we want to do to get rid of Candida without diets, extreme diets, without antifungals, is to rebuild the body. We need to get the body strong enough so that it can keep the Candida in check on its own. Because remember, it's part of the normal flora. And if your body is strong enough, that is good, your Candida levels are going to be in check. So how do we rebuild and rebalance the body? Well, we want to look at all the systems of the body together. The body functions as a whole. It needs to be addressed as a whole. So what's really important, your neurotransmitter levels, your adrenals, your sex hormones, your thyroid, your kidneys need to be detoxifying properly. Your liver pathways, phase 1, 2, and 3, needs to be working properly. You need to be eliminating toxins really well. You need to address all of these things together, your mitochondria, any nutritional imbalances and deficiencies in the body. We need to get the body as strong as possible, because when the body is strong, there's not going to be any Candida. And the other thing that we really need to address is the mental emotional stress. So everything that's going on in our outside life, our relationships, money issues, issues with your children, issues at work, this chronic stress response is causing metabolic chaos in the body. And if the body always thinks it's running from a tiger, because that is basically the stress response. Your body can't tell the difference between a stressful thought and running from a tiger. So the body is always producing cortisol and breaking the body down, breaking it down. So it has no time to keep Candida in check, and the stress levels just keep building, and eventually you end up getting these overgrowths and starting to present with a lot of symptoms. So you do want to work on the mindset aspect of your life, and you want to work on getting everything in balance on the outside and on the inside. So the other thing that's a problem with Candida is you can feed off of pretty well anything, and the problem isn't the whole food. It's not the natural sugar. It's not the natural fats. You want to get on a diet that you thrive on, a diet that you wake up, you eat your meals throughout the day, and you feel good about it. You feel good about yourself, and it's not causing any more stress. It's not causing you to go in a state of deficiencies because it's so restrictive. So you want to get on a balanced whole food diet that's suited for you, and I talk about that in some other videos. And you want to work on your mindset, and you also want to get rid of the real things that are feeding the Candida. So that is going to be other pathogens. Candida is taking advantage of a weakened body. So we want to get rid of those other pathogens in the body that are producing byproducts that Candida is feeding off of. We also want to get rid of the toxins in the body. So it's not so much the whole food that's the problem, it's what we're putting on our food. So if you're eating a lot of processed food, you're getting a lot of toxins there. There's toxins you're putting on your skin. There's toxins, a lot of toxins we breathe in, and we have no idea that they're even getting into our system because we can't smell them. They're odorless, can't see them, and they're flooding our system on a daily basis. And our water supply, everything is putting toxins into the body, and Candida, it likes to feed off of it. There's actually a lot of belief now with different practitioners that don't follow the germ theory that the body is actually allowing Candida to overgrow to take on this toxic load. And now the other thing, it's technically a toxin, but I classify it as its own little category because I do address it separately with different binders and so on, is heavy metals. So our metal imbalance, our mineral imbalance in our body is really important to the overgrowth of bacteria and fungus and parasites and protozoa. We want to get those heavy metals out. It does take a lot longer, and again, that's why I put it in its own little category, because to safely detox those metals, you're looking at 1 to 2 years, depending on your toxicity levels. So get rid of Candida without any extreme dieting, because you do need to eat a whole food diet. So you do want to be getting in that real food, but it doesn't have to be extremely restrictive. And you can still have some treat meals. I know I'm on a lot of different Facebook groups, and people have meltdowns because, oh my goodness, they went off their Candida diet for one day or one meal, and all their symptoms come back. Well, that's obviously you didn't fix it, right? And fixing Candida overgrowth would mean that you're able to eat these foods without having the symptoms. That's definitely the end goal, because who wants to be on a restrictive diet for the rest of their life? I honestly haven't met anybody unless they're preaching and they feel that this diet, they're trying to justify it, a reason why they're on it. But really, most people deep down are miserable on these extreme diets. So that's definitely not my goal, to be on an extreme diet for the rest of my life. I can eat whatever I want and feel good, and mostly just stick to that 90% whole food diet. So we want to go after, those two things: rebuild and rebalance your body, and get rid of what is really feeding the Candida. And in the order that we do that, so we want to first work on the lot on the liver. You got to get your most people have issues with their phase 2 pathways. So you've all heard of MTHFR. That's the methylation, desulfation, glucuronidation, your glutathione pathways, your amino acid conjugation pathways. That is where people are having problems, those phase 2 pathways. And phase 3 is how your body is getting the toxins out. Whether it's through your kidney, through your bile, through your skin. If phase 1 and phase 2 are working well and those toxins aren't going anywhere, you're going to run into a problem. So the Candida will take on some of that toxic load. Now, the first step, get those liver pathways functioning really well. Rebuild and rebalance the systems. And in order to do that, you do need proper testing. You can Google, symptoms of Candida overgrowth, and probably every single one of your symptoms will fit that. And then if you Google symptoms of estrogen dominance, almost every one of your symptoms are going to fit that. Or symptoms of neurotransmitter imbalance, and every one of your symptoms are going to fit that. So to see what is really going on with your body, you're going to want to run proper testing. So that's your Dutch, your organic acids, your full blood panel, your copper zinc. That's all going to show you a lot of information about what's going on in the body, and you'll be surprised how many of your symptoms are going to clear up by addressing those imbalances and deficiencies in the body. So I have another video called the 6 Tests Essential to Healing. I'll link it in the comments, and you can check that video out. So you're gonna liver, work on the detox pathways, rebuild and rebalance those systems, neurotransmitters, adrenals, sex hormones, thyroid. Probably missing a few because I'm just going off the top of my head. Working on reducing the stress in your life. You're getting your thoughts positive, working on the mindset issues, the emotional traumas. That is all really important. And then get rid of what's feeding Candida. We want to go after parasites and protozoa first. So if you've taken antibiotics, which is a big reason people blame Candida, or steroids, wipes out your immune system. Candida is not the only thing that is going to overgrow. You have come in contact with a lot of parasites and protozoa over the years, and they're in there. And when your immune system is weak, guess what? Those are going to overgrow also. So that large intestine needs to be cleared up first, and you're going to want to run proper testing to see what you're up against. And that's in the 6 essential test video also. So you start with the parasites and the protozoa, and you go after their biofilm. That's another reason why these things come back. You can try all these protocols and antifungals and antibacterial protocols and antiparasitic protocols, and you're good for a little while, and then it comes back because you got to go after the biofilm. And I have a whole video on biofilm. I'll link that in the comments also. Then the next step, you want to go after the bacteria in the large intestine and in the small intestine. So bacteria in the large, and then go and check if you have SIBO. And almost everyone by then has no fungal issues. And most of your symptoms should have cleared up. Heavy metal work, again, that's going to take a lot longer, so you can do it throughout your gut protocol and after. So do those things, rebuild and rebalance, get your detox pathways working, and then go after those root causes, those things that the Candida is feeding off of in the proper order. So if you have any questions, feel free to join my Facebook group, Motivated to Heal Naturally. I will post the link in the comments. And also, if you can message me if you don't want anybody to see it, because sometimes these issues are a little bit more personal. You can also email me at info@motivatedtoheal.com. That's the number 2. And if you're looking for a coach to help you work through this, you can check out my website, www.motivatedtoheal.com. Again, well, either way, number 2, letter 2, it's going to bring you to the same place. And you can check out my coaching packages. I work in 3, 6, and 12-month packages, and I do have a group program. And we run all those tests. We work on mindset. We work on, a nice balanced nutrition plan, stress reduction, and we get to the root causes. So I hope you guys have a great night. I'll be going live again on Friday to do another Motivated to Heal success story. I'm really excited about this one. And also join me in my Facebook group, because I try to go live about once a week to do a live Q&A where you can ask me any of your health questions. So have a great night. Bye.